What's going on, everybody? It's Matt with American 4WD. Hope you're having an awesome day. I get questions all the time about what kind of equipment that we use when we go out on the trail. So this video is devoted for that and what I actually have on the Comanche here. So I'm going to run through everything and yeah, pretty much. So the first thing that you notice on my bed rack is my high lift jack. So this is a 48-inch tall jack. Essentially what this is for is to lift the body off, or lift the body up, or lift the wheel up. So let's say you teetering on a rock, you can actually use this to lift up the body, push yourself over. It can be used as a makeshift winch. So if you were to have a couple of chains and your winch dies, you can actually hook this up to a tree and actually ratchet yourself out of a hole. You can lift the entire wheel off the ground if you're stuck on a rock, on the control arm, on the shock mount. It has multiple different uses, but basically all it does is just lift up the vehicle very high, whatever you're putting it to. A lot of bumpers nowadays, they come with actual points in them to where that guy hooks up. So if you notice, if you look down here in my bumper, in my front bumper and in my rear bumper, these slots is actually what that high lift jack attaches to. So if I ever need to lift the body up, I can do that with the jack. But keep in mind, if you have a very flexy suspension, it's going to be a long time before that actual tire comes off the ground, so keep that in mind. All right, so the next thing is my CO2 tank. This is a 10-pound tank. This is from Smittybilt. A lot of different manufacturers make it. They all do the exact same thing. People always ask me, how much does it cost to fill it up and how long does it last? Well, the cost to fill it up, so I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so I take it down to Chattanooga Fire Protection and they fill it up for, I don't know, I think it's like 15 bucks. This tank right here will take, I usually take my 37s down to 10 PSI. So it fills up from 10 PSI to 30 PSI, all 4 tires. It does it 3 times. So it lasts a good long while. Next thing, traction boards. A lot of people feel differently about these. I kind of like them. If you've ever watched a bunch of off-roading videos and people are stacking rocks, what they're trying to do is pack in an undercut or a really deep hole and the tire just won't get up and out. So instead of stacking rocks, one, most of the time down here where we live, they're very soft, they're polished, they're smooth, they don't give you any traction. So you can actually stack rocks and then put this on top, and these knobs will actually give you something for the tire to bite on. Also, in deep sand and deep mud, you can actually throw these guys down there. If it's bottomless and you're diffed out, you can actually throw these guys under there and try to get a little bit more traction. And it's also useful as a shovel. So a lot of overlanders use it, but you can use it in rock crawling, you can use it in mudding. There's many uses for this. Also, if you have an overlanding tent, you can use it as a lift point or a chalk, basically, and actually level out your vehicle out there on the trails. It's kind of cool. All right, the next thing, let's go from a box. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the camera, and that way you can see everything that's going on in here. So this is my utility box. It is watertight, it has a seal. But what I've got in here is my entire recovery bag. So this is from Gear America. It comes with 2 shackles. It comes with a kinetic energy rope. This itself, the bag is a winch cable dampener. So when you run your winch cable out, you can actually throw this bag over top. So if it ever snaps, it'll just fall to the ground. Comes with gloves and a snatch block. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Next thing is I have my air up tool. So I've got my air up hose and my air up right there. I have soft shackles, so I have 2 of these guys right here, and then I have jumper cables just in case anybody's battery dies. I have a tire repair kit, so that's very important if you're not running a spare tire, like me. And then I also have some spare fluids here, ATF Plus 4 power steering, differential fluid, brake fluid, and then I've got some U-joints inside of here. So just in case anybody snaps a U-joint on the trail, we can go ahead and replace that. I do have 2 toolboxes back here that I keep in here at all times. Show you guys those real quick. It is an absolute mess in there, but it has all the basic essential tools. Socket, ratchets, Leatherman, adjustable wrenches, cutting wheel, and the great part about using that CO2 tank is you can actually use these cutting wheels and you can cut stuff off with them. You can actually use air tools with it as well. So, a bunch of tools in there. Right. And then the next one ratchet straps, duct tape, JB Weld, metal wire, flashlights, electrical tape, hose clamps, electrical, all that fun stuff. So, like I said, I do keep these toolboxes on there at all times, and that way, just in case I need it, I have it. On this side, this is should be pretty obvious. These are Roto Packs. Roto Packs, these are 2 gallons right here. This is for fuel, red's for fuel. This is my 1 gallon water. So a lot of times Jeep 4.0s don't like to stay cool. And a lot of V8s, when you do burn downs, they don't like to stay cool either. So carrying some spare water, one, just in case you run out of water, just for drinking, things like that. But also, just in case somebody overheats, needs some water in the radiator, blah, blah, blah. Wash your hands, wash your plates, anything like that. That's what that's for. This is a medical kit. So it's got your bare essentials in here. Bandages, gauze, antibiotic. It's got burn creams, a stitch kit, all sorts of fun stuff, just in case you slip, fall, hurt yourself, cut yourself, all that fun stuff. Alright, so the last thing I want to show you, something pretty important. Inside my glove box, I always have these 3 things right here. I have my lug nut key, just in case I ever need to get the wheel off. Number 2 is my air down tool. So this is from Synergy Manufacturing. This is how I rapidly deflate my tires. So when you get to the trail, you don't want to sit there for an hour and a half trying to take all the air out of the tires, and you obviously don't want to come out of the trail, sit there for an hour and air up. So the CO2 tank, it's quick, it fills them up. This guy airs it down extremely fast. So, it's pretty simple. It's basically just a gauge with a valve stem remover. So you screw this guy into the valve, valve stem. It pulls the core out of it, and then you will go in and out on this right here, and that's what rapidly deflates the tire. Kit. Where'd it go? It also comes with some spares. So if you've ever been out on the trail and you demo a valve stem, I don't have one in there right now, but you can put a valve stem in there, but it also has valve cores. So if you ever lose one, one gets bent, one gets mud in it, and all right. Last thing is communication. Communication is extremely important. So this is a Rugged Radios GMRS. It's basically a walkie-talkie with more features. Back in the day, we used to do CBs. Everybody did a CB. You can reach pretty far with it, but the bad thing is you have to hard mount them to the vehicle, find a power, mount a CB antenna. It's a real pain in the butt. This guy will reach up to 10 miles. I can tune frequencies. I can get on different channels. I can talk to people. I can even pick up some CB channels. So it's kind of all-in-one. And this is what we're using now strictly to go off-road with in our communication. So guys, if you are planning on off-roading with us, definitely get yourself one of these. They're like 60 bucks and they're fantastic, and they come in very clear. And you can also, instead of a hard mounted CB where you can only hear things and talk to people in here, this I can actually use in my truck, and then if I need to spot anybody or things like that, but I don't want to yell to them, I can actually take this out of my truck, look at the obstacle, and talk to the driver at that point. So it's got a lot of pros. So also one of the things that I have in here is a fire extinguisher. So if you actually look over underneath the passenger seat, you'll see it. It's on a magnetic clamp. Here, I'll get it. So this is an Element fire extinguisher. So a lot of people have fire extinguishers for the obvious reason. Something catches on fire, you got to put it out. Having a big fire extinguisher, whether you have big one, small one, it really doesn't matter. As long as it'll put it out, it doesn't matter. But this was easy and convenient for me to place under my seat instead of a larger one. But basically what this is basically a road flare, but as a fire extinguisher. So basically you pop the cap off, pop the other cap off, strike it, and it starts to go to town. This is the 100 size, so I believe it lasts for 150 seconds. But yeah, this will put out pretty much anything you got. But I also want to throw that out there. Always carry a fire extinguisher, always. But the very last thing, I know I said the last thing, but the very last thing I want to show you, because some people don't know what this is, but you know, hey, whatever, is a winch. So this is a Warn winch. This is a VR Evo. I believe it's the 8S version. So this guy is rated to 8,000 pounds. What you want is you want a winch that will pull 1.5 times your vehicle weight. So I may be saying that wrong, but basically what you're trying to do is whatever your vehicle weighs, multiply it by 1.5, and that's the size winch you want. This vehicle probably weighs 5,000 pounds and soaking wet. So 5,000 times 1.5 is roughly around 7,500. So an 8,000 pound winch, that will pull my truck out of just about anything. And if I'm really stuck in the mud, or if I'm hung up against a rock, that's gonna put more weight against it. At that point in time, you're gonna use double line pulls, things like that, to basically double its pulling power. You don't want to have a straight line to whatever you're pulling to get yourself out at that point, because your vehicle is being held up by something, so it's much heavier at that point. So you don't have to have a 15,000 pound winch, a 12,000 pound winch, a 10,000 pound winch. That's a total misconception. So yes, but it has a cool feature. So come here, I'll show you. So inside my glove box, right here in the center, you got a power cord, and you always have sleep aids when you go wheeling. Especially, nature's loud. So anyways, this is the controller for the winch. Essentially, what you do is you plug it into here, and then you plug this into the top right here. Warn has some really cool features about this this particular winch, because what you can do is not only can you plug this in and take this controller all the way inside the cab, so you can be basically wheeling while you're winching, but also this remote is wireless, so I can actually press and hold the Bluetooth button right here, and it automatically hooks up to the winch, and I can go out and in, so I don't even need the cord. Actually, at this point I just use the cord to hook the controller up to it for about an hour. It charges it up, so that way you're always good on before you go wheeling and onto the trail. But guys, that's about it for all the gear gadgets that I use when I go off-roading. Let me know what your stuff is. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Guys, I will thank you so much. I will see you later.